multi-fold challenges here. So primarily, if you say operational challenges, uh, in terms of expertise also, because so far we have been managing everything on site and we had physical control. Let it be the hardware or software, we had a physical control. We can go and touch and feel. But here, like in the cloud, we really don't know. And then is a different domain and is much more bigger and much more complex. So, and it requires different kind of expertise. So here, like it's a new learning that we have to learn from, move our thought process, our learning from physical environment to the virtual environment. And as you rightly said, that is very difficult to basically just rely upon on the one paradigm. You have to manage both the world simultaneously because it's very difficult. It's not today we can say is not feasible to have the complete migration that do away with the physical environment, because we really don't know that which workload is 100% compatible or 100% doable on the cloud. So that part we have to deal with both the world. So how do we manage the expertise of both the world and then on-site as well as the cloud? So that is one. Second challenge is that security. Security still remains a challenge here. So like particular policy which we have, and because we are governed by the METI, NCI, PCC, because we mentioned IT and OT. So OT still remains on-site. So here, how do we configure the security policies as per our enterprise security policy in case of cloud? Because cloud may have its own security policy. So there, we are not very much comfortable yet. So one, and third challenge is a compatibility. So here that on-site, suppose technology is different, platform technology is different. On-site technology platform, suppose we is Java and Oracle combination, and on cloud if we have Azure, then we find it difficult to get similar kind of combinations of platform in terms of technology. So there also this is one challenge, and the total cost of ownership and ROI, because that we have to yet see, because that customer centric, as Prasun sir mentioned, the demand from customer side much more bigger, but volume comes from the enterprise. Volume is there because customer side applications, they are very thin application, and very voluminous in terms of there is a data volume or transaction per se. So that we have to yet see that what is the total in terms of long term, because short term it looks like much more cost effective, but in long term that expense we have to yet see how cost effective it is as compared to on premise.
Thank you. I think you have put it very beautifully, managing both the worlds together. And I think if you are in this world and when you reach that world, if that happens ever, the most challenging part is moving from A to B, because you will have to manage A and you have to manage B, and sometimes both of them, they don't gel together. They have different demands and they have different pressures on their own. And as you rightly said, some of the things are you are constantly learning. So the earlier TCO and ROI models are slowly becoming waning into oblivion, and you have to have new ways of justifying the investment and of understanding how to manage the entire thing. So I think you have very beautifully put it.
I think this cloudification or the cloud journey remains a common theme for both the organizations and both sir present here. So one way of addressing it, I mean, there can be multiple ways of addressing this kind of situation. I'll not say the challenge with the situation, because you cannot avoid it, you have to move. So one is that, because you probably have on-premise and cloud, and tomorrow it can be a challenge where you have multiple cloud. So challenge remains today, going for Microsoft cloud, and later maybe Google or maybe somebody else. And at the same time, you may want to coexist multiple cloud providers along with your on-premise. So complexity will increase. Now, how do we address it is basically to have something called hybrid cloud management. I'm not saying just hybrid IT, but it's a hybrid cloud management. So in that whole piece, your on-premise will be another cloud, or just like that entity. Now, when you look at that way, idea is that your IT managers who are actually doing the service management, doing the provisioning, doing the taking the customer request on the internal customer request and serving them, then they need to have a full visibility. So important is that you need to have a full visibility of your infrastructure, whether it is a cloud or in an on-premise. How do you do that? Then you need some softwares, management piece, which actually can do auto discovery kind of feature, or which is kind of out of the box integration with different technologies, different database, different cloud providers, different orchestration layer, virtualization layer. We are talking about containers today, right? So I'm saying that there has to be maximum out of the box integrations of management piece, which actually give you a full insight or full discovery of your infrastructure. The moment you have it, then I think it is easier for you to decide where and what I should run. One application can run on on-premise, another can run better on cloud. In future, you'll find one application can run better on cloud, Google, but maybe may not be may not be good at Microsoft, or it can be vice versa. Now, unless you have some process and some methodology to decide on that through certain intelligence, and that actually software can bring in. So you need to look at some matured IT management softwares, IT management platform, which actually can help you to do this couple of things, so that you have something in hand which basis that you can decide. So that is one part of it in terms of hybrid situation where we are getting in more and more. Second part of this is that you have different kind of workloads, right? So when you have a different kind of workload, then you need to have something how to do the capacity planning for that. So do I know that one particular workload, how it will behave in after some time, and then when it behaves after some time, how it will be deployed into another in my landscape. So then you need to have some kind of capacity planning intelligence coming out of your systems, by which you can decide on your future deployment as well. I think that remains part of the whole planning itself. And nowadays, sir, because of this big data, the AIML technologies are available in every aspect, whether it is the application or it is a middleware or database, even in the IT infrastructure management or the application management systems. So this is being heavily used, and that actually helping customer to getting the insight and doing a lot of proactive planning around that as well. Now, third point is definitely you mentioned about security, right? So now, when it is a security, I think again, Mr. Verma mentioned that when it is cloud, it is very difficult to implement the security standard of your organizations, because you don't know what they are providing. I think here you need to be demanding. That would be our recommendations, because as a infrastructure provider or as a cloud service provider, there are certain standard tools they use. At the same time, if you demand for the implementation on your or the standards to be maintained as per your requirement, organization requirement, I think anybody is supposed to provide those kind of solutions to it, and these are available. So it's not that it's not available. So if you want to have certain security policies in terms of security operations, ask for it. This is available, and that should be as per your standards. And every organization has got their own challenges. So this is something that is doable. Third, I think fourth point is becoming important, sir. What we have seen is that one team manages your network operations or the data center operations, and then there's a separate team manages your security operations. What we are seeing increasingly is that in your landscape, there can be a challenge of unnecessary packets being generated and that your system being choked in terms of network. But that is looks to be a network issue. But many times it is actually happening because somebody wants to, hacking your system and creating a lot of unnecessary packets into a firewall. But that is not a network. That is actually root cause is a security issue. Now, how do you do that? Because normally what happens, two different teams working. So there is a need to have bidirectional integration in the system itself. Number one, system should be able to talk, NOC and SOC able to talk to each other and help you to give some prescription or the some kind of analysis that yes, this problem is a network problem, but it's actually source root cause is coming out of a security issue. So that both the teams can quickly exchange information, exchange knowledge, and take actions immediately. So I think the knock-sock integration is very, very important. Many organizations started looking at it at a very basic level, but we are seeing that there is a result coming out of that, when you actually start creating some kind of process or the framework to have these integrations available with that. Probably the last one I'll just mention, because again, Mr. Verma, you mentioned about it, that identity management, which is basically the data security or the data privacy. Now, in your organization, there can be multiple type of data, and it is difficult, and there has to be a categorization of what is sensitive, what is less sensitive, and how you can do that. Again, I think I'm sure you have a policy. If that policy is available, and with that policy, I think it needs to be again integrated with your identity management, access and identity management of the user. So if that is being again integrated with the IDAM, which we normally will probably have this kind of solution implemented, which is a single sign-on or the Active Directory kind of software that we use. But I think it has gone slightly beyond nowadays, because for an user, for identity, there is a life cycle. The moment an employee is onboarded, and then the employee is retiring after 30, 40 years, and over time, his entire identity is being changed, modified, transformed in a different directions from the employee point of view. Second, you also have customers getting access to your different application, different data, but you cannot treat differently with the two different systems for your employees and your customers. And that is where I think if you have a single identity management framework by which you actually can control the access, and at the same time control the access to your information of the data, and depending on the categorization of the sensitivity or the privacy of the data. So again, I'm saying that today's identity management or the access management softwares are available by which it can give you an entire life cycle, which will be a control in your hand, and to manage not only your internal users, but also customers or vendors who are also accessing your data and the application. So that probably can help you to give you a holistic approach, and eventually you will end up reducing a lot of threats, a lot of unnecessary hassles into the for the IT team.